What is communication? Communication is the act of giving messages, giving information to people that are important to you. Now, you could be doing that verbally in a video or in an audio format, a podcast, or obviously writing something down. At the end of the day, it is simply making sure that that important thing that you have to say is heard and remembered and maybe acted upon by the audience that you feel is important to hear it. So there are certain things we need to keep in mind when we are trying to be a good communicator, an effective communicator. First and foremost, we have to make sure that whatever we say is remembered by the people that we're trying to communicate it to. And secondly, we want to make sure that we don't do something that inadvertently takes away from that clarity or that ability to be remembered. Generally, we think about two elements. And first is the verbal element, what it is you say. Secondly is the nonverbal delivery. So our body language, our eye contact, our hand movement, those sorts of things. So how does that look? In reality, the first thing, the verbal content, right? We want you to make sure that you're concise, that your messages are on point to the right audience at the right time. We want to make sure that your pace is not too fast, not too slow. After all, in many parts of the world, we could be communicating to people in a language that is their second or third language. So we need to be a little bit slower. We need to pause a little bit more often, just to make sure that everybody is understanding what we're saying. Now, how about the nonverbal delivery? Well, first and foremost, eyes, right? We have to keep eye contact. Whether you're on a Zoom call or a webinar, or whether you're face-to-face with a client or other stakeholder that is important to you, if you are always averting your eyes, if you are always looking away from them, if you are not looking them in the eye, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to believe you. They might think this person is not as confident as they could be. So we got to remember the eyes. Second thing is our body posture, how we sit, right? If we're slumped over to the side like this, maybe crossing our legs, having our hand like this, it can send inadvertent signals to people that, hey, you know what? We're just not interested in what's going on. We're not there. We're not being present. So we like to just sit naturally, right? But sit up, not stiff, but sit in a way that indicates that we are tuned into the conversation, whether we are receiving or whether we are delivering information to people. A couple of really basic things. The other thing we have to always think about is, as we are going into our communication, is what are we trying to do, right? Are we trying to merely inform somebody? Are we trying to convince them to do something? Are we trying to entertain them? What is our purpose? Because in advance of delivering communication in any situation, we as the communicator have to be very clear in our own mind as to what it is we're trying to achieve, what our final outcome is. The world has drastically changed in recent years. Now that we're 20 years into the new century, the technology that is available for all of us to communicate is mind-blowing. The simple fact of using social media networks, for example, is something that was not possible even 10 or 15 years ago. We also have a lot of new tools at our disposal to communicate, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. So for example, the idea of deep fakes, or the idea of AI writers and those algorithms, or holoportation or holograms. These are some of the newest technological breakthroughs that can help people communicate more effectively, more memorably in the 21st century. What can you do to get on board with 21st century communication? A lot of people are asking it because many of these new tools are not things that we automatically use in our own lives. So first, I would say it is important for you to understand what it is you need to communicate and who you need to communicate to. You have to be very clear about what your own communication landscape looks like. Because frankly, all of the new tools that are out there won't be appropriate for you in your situation. So first, understand who it is you're communicating to and what you need to say. Secondly, find out what's available. Google new communication tools. See what comes up. Google AI writer. Google holograms, holoportation. See what's out in the world around you. and see how you might be able to benefit from adopting some of that technology. Back around the turn of the century in the 1900s, many people were convinced that the horseless carriage, the automobile, was a passing fad. Many people doubled down on buying horses and hay for their horses and new wagons for their horses and new saddles to ride their horses. Well, we all know what happened. Within 15 or 20 years, those people that were believers in horses got literally and figuratively left behind. I feel it is the same way in the 21st century with 21st century communication. So many of these new tools that we have, these new ways of reaching out, are very accessible and becoming more accessible by the day. Whether you're an individual or whether you're a company, all of these tools are available at some level. And as time goes on, of course, they will become less expensive, if in fact they're expensive now, and become more ubiquitous. It is absolutely essential that in your business life, in your personal life, you figure out what these new ways of communicating are, and you adapt them and use them as soon as you can. If you don't, chances are at some point you're going to be with your horse by the side of the road. Thanks for watching this short video today on communication in the 21st century. Please make sure to subscribe to Ideas and Inspiration. If you'd like to get some more information from me on this topic, please feel free to go to my website, glennvanzutphen.com, or my LinkedIn profile, or my YouTube channel. All are available, and I've got lots of great information for you on communication. Thanks for watching.